How good's this track? Well, you won't know yet, but check it out. This is OX7GEN. Coming out on Ram Records this Friday. Well, their sister label Program. It's called Kodachrome Sky. Check this. Easy, Tom. Hi, Sputnik. Hi, Simon. Easy. This is my guest this week. So good. OX7GEN, aka, well, actually, Aditya Ashok, aka OX7GEN, is joining me this week, and this track is out on Friday. Pretty badass. How are you doing on this crazy Wednesday? You alright? Hi Yokai, hi Nushi, hi Mia, hi Sumit. Yeah, so Aditya Ashok, aka OX7GEN, is joining me this week, and this is his track. It's called Kodachrome Sky. It's out on Ram Records on Friday. Sorry, Program, their sister label, and it's just incredible. Like, it really is incredible. It's kind of beautiful and floaty. It's a kind of understated, a lot like Aditya himself, you know? Hey Paloma, how's it going? Hey, Aditya's here. I kind of got carried away listening to this tune. And just put him into this chat. Is it gonna work? Come on, you guys. Ah, thank you, Nushi. That's really sweet. Nushi in the comments is saying that these lives have made your evening. That's really sweet. To be honest, they've made mine too. But yeah, this track is fucking amazing. It's crazy. OX7GEN on Ram Records this Friday. Easy, bruv.
What's up?
How's it going?
I was waiting for the second drop to hit before I accepted your request.
Zoom out a bit. Like, let's see your,
that's great.
your whole face.
My whole house?
Your whole house. Are you wearing a top now? So basically, Aditya and I had a chat before this, and he was topless for that conversation. And
Are we not doing that?
Well, we could do. Topless.
We're not doing that.
We could do topless.
Maybe we'll see how the evening goes.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing, bro? You well?
I'm good, man. It's I'm usually asleep, I think, about an hour and a half before this. I think that's kind of what the pandemic has done, and then moving to Goa and its own slow pace has kind of brought that down even more.
Yeah.
So it's been nice though. I've always been like a night owl, like I think ever since I got done with school, and just being able to kind of explore this new zone of like just morning energy has been actually pretty inspiring. It's cool.
Nice.
It's keeping things fresh, and I was getting a little, I don't want to say bored, but I think saturated with that zone. So it's kind of nice to just have this kind of new way of looking at the day, basically.
Yeah, I think that was the thing about the pandemic. When the whole world shut down, I was like, oh, finally I can take a breather and I can relax a little bit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There was
slow down a bit.
Not so much going on. Yeah, man. But that was also why I started these chats, was to sort of stay sane throughout all of this nonsense, and also get drunk with a friend. So thank you for joining me. Yes.
Absolutely. Any excuse.
Dude, I've been actually, like, brutally honestly, and I've got to like, full disclosure to everyone that's joined us. Thank you for joining us. I've been wasted for around about the last 24 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because London's going back into lockdown, so I kind of went out and had like a socially distanced, safe last hurrah.
Okay.
And then woke up and then ate and had wine with my food. And I'm like, hi.
Back in there.
Steaming, yeah. So this is lovely. Thank you for making my job easier this evening, because I love you and know you, so it's fine.
It's going to be easy. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers. So listen, right. Well, I was thinking about things that I don't know about you, okay? Because
Yeah.
obviously we work together. And I'm very privileged, actually. I work with you and I work with Bhavan from Foreign Beggars. And I realized that those are the two artists that I kind of work with quite closely. And essentially, you both have numbers in your name.
Oh, interesting.
And that's it. It's like, oh,
he's got 7. A 4 and I've got a 7, right?
Yeah.
I know. It's interesting.
That's so like, it's
so you're like a numbers guy.
It's just such a shit lame connection. It's just like I only manage artists with numbers in their names. That's it. That's my speciality.
Joel Zimmerman next.
I don't know. No. I was going to be N3RM once upon a time.
Oh,
but listen,
okay.
So your whole journey, right, is what I want to know about. So you are obviously an esteemed producer now. You've got a track on Ram coming out on Friday, which is this one, which is fucking amazing, by the way. I love this
Thanks,
track.
man.
It's fucking great. But you're an esteemed producer, but you're also a drummer. And I want to know, and I can't believe I haven't asked you this drunkenly before, but how did you get into drumming? Like from India, being a kid from India. How did that happen?
It's actually a pretty crazy story. It could have almost never happened. I kind of started playing because my brother he wanted to play the drums. And
it's nuts that I didn't even know you had a brother.
Yeah, there you go. So I have an older brother. And I mean, we've both been musically inclined pretty much our entire lives. And every time he'd pick up an instrument, I'd pick up the same instrument after him. And then just
Is
really
he older
like...
or younger?
He's older. He's like 3 years older than me.
Okay, so you were kind of like influenced by his actions.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, any older, younger sibling situation, right? So he'd pick up an instrument and then so would I. I wouldn't always pick up the same instrument, but like there would be a lot of times when I'd also just like in my free time, just pick it up and noodle around. And I don't want to say I got better than him. I think I just spent a lot more time on it.
What a bastard you are.
I know he's not watching right now, so that I can say whatever I want.
Is he like a doctor?
No, but he has an MBA, so same thing.
So better.
Better.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. He picked his poison, I picked mine.
Huh.
So he basically wanted to learn drums, and I was playing guitar back then. But it so happened that the band that I was playing in at the time, which is also the first band that I ever played in with my friends from school, shout out to the SOS if anyone's watching. We needed a drummer, and I had a drum kit at home, so I was just like, let me just figure out these grooves, these supposed grooves that we have for these songs, and I'll just keep playing them until we find a drummer. And I just kept playing them, and I was doing decently well, so then I just stuck. That's how I became a drummer. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it could have never happened.
Like inherent natural rhythm, basically.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so slight backstory. When I was a little younger, I think I'm going to say about 7, 8, I lived in Lucknow, and at the time I was learning how to play the conga from a local music teacher who was teaching me like old school like Bollywood songs on the conga. And so there was some amount of like percussion or sense of rhythm that was being established already at a fairly young age.
You never imagined that, like, if you're going to be taught percussion in India, it wouldn't be an Indian instrument.
I mean, yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a variation of the conga because it wasn't like the massive big ones that you see at most percussion setups. It was kind of small. It was like the smallest
like
conga.
Like a baby conga. So a fucking
like
conga.
A baby conga. No, that's 2. This was 3.
Okay.
So it was like
baby bongos, basically.
It was like a bonga, if you will.
Fair enough. A bonga. You played the bonga. 3 bongas.
I played the bonga. I started off on the bonga. And so I think there was some amount of like, rhythmic installation that already happened at a young age, possibly. Also, from my mother's side, there's a lot of like artistic people in the family. So I think I picked up something from there, maybe. But yeah, drums just came to me pretty naturally. And because I didn't learn it under anyone. I did go to Gino Banks, I think a year into playing just to make sure that my technique is right and not, injuring myself as I play. But
That was, dude, one of the things, I was a percussionist in my past. And
mhm.
one of the things was
Oh, I
like
don't know that.
hand blisters. Really? Ah, what
Yeah, I
kind?
love how we like discovering each other through this very
Yeah.
public chat.
Yes, this public medium of touchings and sort of probing.
Exactly.
Anyway, no, but yeah, I like percussion was like a first love of mine, and I ended up like with mad drumstick blisters across my hands
Hmm.
until and the
Like right
blisters
here.
would burst, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so when you say safety, what things can you do to avoid those blisters?
I mean, the blisters I feel happen. I'm not exactly sure why it happens. I think it's a combination of moisture. If like if there's too much moisture in the air, then because the stick doesn't slide very easily, so it kind of catches the skin and pushes it in.
I thought
That's
moisture was
my
the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there
Right.
is too
Okay.
much moisture in
Right.
the
Right. Okay.
air, then it kind of catches your skin and pushes the fluid down. So that's what creates the blister.
Huh.
But if it's fairly dry, then the stick just kind of slips. Not slips too much, but it's a little easier in terms of getting a blister. I don't exactly know how to avoid blisters. I do know that you just kind of like
So
brace yourself through it, and
I mean,
then
so
after
what
a few days,
safety
it's
did
fine.
you learn then in that course?
I mean, it wasn't really learning safety. I just wanted to make sure that the way I was holding the sticks was not like damaging my wrists because of the way every time you hit your stick on like a snare, especially if you're playing like heavier music and metal and stuff, you do these things called rim shots where you're
Hmm.
literally hitting the rim off the drum along with the skin. And there's a lot of like vibration that gets transferred from the rim through the stick, and that can go straight through your hand. And like in fact, I don't even know, maybe I'm not doing it right now as well, because a lot of my wrists, I've been getting a decent amount of wrist pain if it's a fairly hectic schedule.
Hmm.
And so I mean, it was more, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
was.
more just to correct that technique.
I think that's like the interesting thing is that I kickboxed for years, and when we put wraps on to sort of
Hmm.
strengthen the strengthen the wrist from impacts,
Yeah,
maybe that would really help with
would
drumming. But
help.
you kind of move it though. You kind of need that movement in your wrists.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, drumming is usually a combination of finger movement, wrist movement, and arm movement. I mean, arm very little, but it's mostly wrist and fingers. So a lot of times, if my wrists would start hurting, I'd wear these braces, but like that really, you're not getting any speed out of that. It's
Mm.
it's it's not very smooth. It
So
feels
big.
weird.
I just want to say big up Yazzie, big up Tarkib in the comments, and he's asking what conditioner do you use?
What whatever Lara buys.
There you go. Exactly. You just
She
teeth.
she
You just teeth
yeah
conditioner basically.
yeah. I'm a conditioner thief. I'm a product thief.
So tell me this, right? You went from drumming, and we discussed your wrist action and your nimble fingers. But then, how
Hmm.
did you translate those nimble fingers and wrist action to sitting in front of a computer and fucking around with a mouse and waveforms and all this
That
bullshit that comes with production? Because production is so not an instant gratification thing. It's like you're fucking
it's
around with
not.
like you're building a ship in a bottle essentially.
It's I like the fact that you said it's so not instant gratification, because what ends up happening so often with me is you get inspired when you hear something, or if you have an idea and you're like, whoa, I want to put that down. I want to make a song out of that. And I open up Ableton and I start working on something. And like 5 minutes in, I'm like, this is not fun anymore, because, I was so fucking inspired like 5 minutes ago. And now I'm just like going through like 50 snares. So it is actually, I've never thought about it that way, but there is definitely this period that you need to kind of get through, where it's almost the groundwork, the foundation, so to speak, and it really is a long game thing. Like some
Mm.
songs will write themselves in like 2 minutes. I mean, not 2 minutes, sorry, 2 days. I very recently had a pretty good session actually, where I just managed to finish a song. That's the quickest I've ever finished a song, 2 days.
Huh.
And those are the best ones. I feel like if you can get that idea from your brain onto your DAW as soon as you can, then you're kind of bastardizing as little of it as possible along the way.
Like it's all about getting it out as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. Yeah. Because like when you have it in your head, it's perfect.
But how
like
did that transition happen to you from a drummer to a producer?
So way before I even knew what a producer was, or even before I was into electronic music, I got a copy of Fruity Loops from a friend of mine. And I was actually using that to make drum tracks for like the band that I was playing in. It was hilarious. It was like an 808 kit, and I'm trying to like make rock grooves on it. You know, I didn't know any better. And
that is the mother of all ingenuity is ignorance.
Exactly.
That creativity.
Figure it out.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I kind of just got my first experience of like a DAW through Fruity Loops and also through Guitar Pro. I mean, I don't even know if Guitar Pro counts as a DAW, but do you even know what Guitar Pro is?
I was going to say that reminds me more of the Native Instruments plugin, the guitar.
Yeah, no, this is like, it's guitar notation software. So like, it's a software where you can read guitar notation, but you can also like hit play and it plays out the notation, and it's all MIDI basically. So, but you can also do drums, and you can program like bass and guitar and drums and stuff. So I used to spend a lot of time after college just trying to program out
Did
like
you
massive
study music at
songs.
College?
No, I did. I studied economics.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Dude, I did banking and finance.
Whoa, okay, there you go. See? There's something about finance and music now.
I failed it entirely, which is kind of like appropriate for being in music, is failing at finance.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I didn't fail, but I think if I did it professionally, I probably would. So I'm not even going to try.
So yeah, please continue. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so Guitar Pro and Fruity Loops were my like first instances of using any kind of like music production software to try and at that point I was just like trying to recreate songs that I already heard before. And then I kind of stopped doing that for a while when my drumming gigs were kind of taking a little more time, and I didn't really have time to sit and do this. But then in 2008, I chanced upon this genre that we now know as drum and bass.
We now
know.
I mean, it's always drum and bass, you dickhead. I mean,
that I knew.
Wise sage, like it's now known as drum and bass, idiot.
I mean, for me at that point, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, you are the
from my perspective, it was like, yeah. It was actually at Blue Frog, and I think Sohail was he was programming there at the time, and he was also just like deciding what music is playing all the time. And it was an Eric Truffaz album, and although he's more like jazz drum and bass, it's not like straight up drum and bass. But I mean, it was like 170 BPM, like Armin breakbeaty shit. So I was like, this is kind of cool. And then when I went home and I was doing a bit of research, and I came across London Electricity's Essential Mix from 2008, and that just blew the doors open, man.
Nice.
That's it. So then I was like, okay, this is very cool. And then I had a whole year of just really immersing myself into like, you know, all these different subgenres within it. And that kind of intersected with my parents buying me my first laptop, MacBook Pro. And then I got Ableton, and then just started fucking around. And I mean, what else would I make? Because I was obsessed with drum and bass at the time. So I was trying to make a drum and bass track. And I made this track called Northern Lights, which is my first track, I guess, which I released. I put it up on YouTube.
Yeah. And then also,
that's kind of how it happened. Yeah.
It's kind of nice that your parents supported you in that endeavor, as opposed to sort of saying, no, be a doctor or be an engineer or some shit, or be an economist, or be like go into finance or go into politics or something like that.
They didn't want me to be an economist. I mean, I did economics because I fucked up my science papers like a lot.
Were you going to be a doctor like I was?
I mean, I think engineer maybe.
Okay.
That's possibly what I might have been pushed into if I wasn't as headstrong as I was and just like fighting back.
Mm.
But the thing is, at the time that they started kind of supporting me, I was already doing a bunch of shows across India with a band called Rosemary. We were doing pretty well in India in a lot of the like college competitions and that circuit, which was kind of the way to get ahead back in the day, you know, in the indie scene, in the indie rock scene.
Yeah.
And so that was going pretty well for me. So I think my parents had like a little bit of hope that, you know, okay, let's kind of support him a bit and see where this goes.
Yeah, let's encourage this aspect that happens to be
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. It's like
sprouting anyway.
exactly.
But
Like
how?
he's in college anyway. He's doing that. So let's
Yeah,
just do this also and like see what happens.
that's fucking lovely. But also, like, I was thinking back to how we met because that's
Hmm.
like a thing with all these chats that I do. Is like, how do I know this motherfucker? And I've, you know, as I posted on Instagram, I was like, yeah, I've vomited in front of you so many times in different countries across the world in various different states of mind. And I was like, damn, how did we meet? And it was like, oh shit, it was through Monica and Randolph. So it was like Shaair Func is how
Yeah, I mean,
I got to know you.
for sure. And but the funny thing is, I can't really pinpoint exactly when that was.
Right.
Can you? Do you remember exactly
Um,
like when we met?
so I reckon, like, here's the thing that I don't think Shaair Func get enough credit for is I think they just changed the whole scene in India massively.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, just
Absolutely.
revolutionized
Absolutely.
fucking everything. Um,
In a
and
very
yes,
low key way also. It's like people don't even realize the kind of impact it's had, you know,
yeah, 100%.
on
And
all
I
of
was
it.
just like, yeah, absolutely. It was just like, it just changed. Like, for me, it was like it created indie, the scene.
Mm-hmm,
You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah,
Monica
yeah.
was wearing, you know, Randolph being from Pentagram, and like, fucking love them both. You know, they're both like siblings, and I hate them both in equal measure as well. So it's like a love-hate thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But mostly love. But equally, then I think it was around about, I want to say 2006, 2007 when you joined the band.
No, actually, it was 2011.
So you can name it, you bastard. Yes, so you can pinpoint it.
No, I can pinpoint the year because like I
Okay.
can literally pinpoint every like major thing that happened in my life based on month and year.
Did you come to
But like,
Glastonbury?
yeah, but that was in 2014.
Was it that late?
Yeah, yeah, that was in 2014.
Oh
But
man,
I
I
think
thought it was way earlier. Okay, fine.
I
I
definitely,
fucked up. Yeah.
no, it's definitely 2014. But also, I definitely met you before that. I can't
See, I don't
remember
remember
where
that at
though.
all. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. But for me,
So
it was SNF. Like, and
yeah,
you
for
as the
sure,
drummer.
through SNF. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I was just
absolutely.
like, and there's this one. Okay, there's this one gig I remember, and it must have been 2008. And so you couldn't have
Mm-hmm.
been on drums. Ah, it was Praveen on drums. That's right.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it
he
was.
was
Yeah,
before
yeah.
me. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it was like a post Glastonbury kind of come down
Where in
gig I
London?
did. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It wasn't you at all. No, it was someone else.
That was their
Okay.
first Glastonbury stint, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
So you
Yeah,
came.
yeah.
So you came over in
11.
2014, 2011.
I came to Glastonbury in 2014 with them. Yeah.
Huh. Man, that's nuts. And then I think I
6
was
years.
kind of like the thing that inspires me about you and your production and your whole outlook is that you ended up in a van with Sky Harbor driving around the States touring,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
proper grassroots, like
Yeah.
hardcore working. You know what I mean? Like there's no
Yeah.
luxuries. It's not a rock and roll lifestyle. Like touring is actually a shit life. Like
Yeah.
it's just rubbish.
Yup.
Like
Absolutely.
it's glamorized and whatever, but behind the curtain, it's fucking
Yeah.
shit. And the thing that I find with a lot of Indian artists, and I'm not going to name names, but a lot of Indian artists have a really comfortable life in India. There's like
Yeah. Yeah.
a middle class existence where you have maids and servants and everything's looked after, and you don't have to worry. But coming to the West is a whole other fucking paradigm shift.
Mhm.
But you did
Mhm.
that. You know, you lived in a fucking van for like 3 months on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like month and a half. I think was the longest one we did. About 45 days.
So I
46
take back the
days.
3 months then. But yeah, a month and a
Yeah.
half.
Close enough. Close enough.
So why do that?
After the first 15 days, it doesn't even matter. It's just like
It's ongoing. It's like
yeah.
fucking,
It's
yeah.
just
But
nonstop.
why would you do that? What was the purpose of doing that?
I mean, it's the dream, right? It's any musician, any young kid who's like 15 and like seeing his favorite bands touring and making music. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? It's like that's what it's about. What else would you do with your life?
Well, because the reality
And
sets in and it is shit. That's why.
I mean, you only realize most of it when you kind of do it, but also no pain, no gain. I mean, it's so like it's cheesy and but it's true. There's a lot of uh, shitty tours you need to do, but like even within those, though, there were some phenomenal experiences we had in terms of some of the bigger tours we did with Deftones and Baby Metal, especially. Both of those were phenomenal, and I wouldn't say that was. I mean, sure, it was hard at times when you had to do like long drives and like your lack of sleep, and you got to show up for sound check, and like your hands are fucking like the size of baseball, but still got to play that night, whatever else
So you
is
just
going on
get
in your
on with it.
life.
The show must go on, right?
Yeah, in fact, a lot of fairly shitty situations that I deal with every day now in life just seems so much easier when I think about like it's like I survived that. Like this is
Mm.
fine.
Mm.
Not to say that it's I'm sure there's a lot of very, very shitty situations that a lot of people go through, and it's still a lot of fun what we did. But there's a lot of fucking compromise when you're on the road like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a lot of
totally.
uncomfortable situations, a lot of like just sucking it up. You're eating trash. You're just like every morning you're just waking up, and the first when you wake up and you're hungover as fuck, and your
Uh,
first job
the
is to
first thing is like,
find.
where the fuck am I and who the fuck are you?
Yeah, yeah. So first you figure out who you are. You
Yeah.
don't even need to figure out where you are, because before that you need to figure out where you're gonna go and take a fucking shit.
Mm.
So it's like
That's a good point.
that's
Yeah.
that's the journey every morning. It's like, okay, let's look for a fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
totally.
mean it kind of like toughens you up a bit, and it's quite an experience, man. And I mean it's kind of shit when you're doing it, but looking back, it seems like it just seems so much fun, and like just we had a pretty good time though.
Yeah,
We
but
had
I
a
mean,
we had a fucking awesome time.
but that's the thing that I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, but like the reality of sort of this rock star ambition is
Hmm.
awesome. And then the reality of it is that 80% it's looking for somewhere to shit, like you've said.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like 80% of it is just like,
yeah,
fuck, what? And then the 20% is awesome. You're totally
yeah,
right with the
yeah.
awesomeness. And that's the thing, you've managed to kind of to sort of maintain that whole existence is very, very, very tough, let alone on the road in
Hmm.
a country that's, I don't want to say hostile, but like essentially you've got a bunch of fucking brown dudes in a van turning up to
Yeah,
events.
yeah, it was actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, most of America was super welcoming,
Mm.
and even we had a few like one or two, not one or two, I think about a total of maybe 5 or 6 situations with cops at many instances, and most of them were really nice actually.
Mm.
So maybe we just got lucky. Maybe it helped that our singer was American, and a lot of our crew was either British or American.
And you're a
But
rock band, and you're like, dude, we're a rock band. They're like, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, it's
yeah, I mean, a lot of the cops actually were very like intrigued. They were like, "Oh wow, you're a fucking bad." Oh. We never got like mistreated. I mean, in Europe, it was kind of bad actually. There were a few times in Europe when we had to like get out of the van, take out all our shit. We were just like standing in the middle of the highway, and there's like sniffer dogs coming up and down.
yeah.
That wasn't fun.
That sounds like on the way
But
to
America was
Glastonbury
fun
when you
though.
get searched. Yeah, that's basic. That we've had
Yeah.
that search on the way to Glastonbury so many times. It's just
Oh
like,
God.
okay,
Oh God.
there you go. Yeah, but so
Yeah.
like with Sky Harbor, like you did all that touring and stuff, and it shows to me that you've got this hunger outside of your comfortable life in India,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I'm still like perplexed as to why you'd give a shit, like beyond your childhood kind of ambitions or dreams. Like even to this day, you still give a shit about what happens outside of India, which is why we work together, quite frankly. Um, and where the fuck does that come from?
Um, I feel like I feel like what I'm constantly chasing is that sense of connection between me and music, it's the strongest when I'm on stage. And if I can get enough of that in India, I would just tour India all the time. But I don't get enough of that in India,
You
not
can,
because of any other reason, but because I'm not into the scenes that I'm into or the kind of music that I play doesn't have that kind of an energy and connection as much as I would like it to be, or as often as I would like it to be.
I think that,
And
I mean,
in pursuit of that, I feel like I don't mind, you know, going through
suffering.
all of that other shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that the interesting thing is that the most sort of arduous fans of any
Hmm.
one band are Indian, because you go to India and there's very little happening, so everyone goes to see something.
Exactly,
Whereas in
exactly.
London, mutual friends of ours come to London, and I'm like, why are you going to every fucking gig? Like, these motherfuckers play all the time. Like, yeah, but we don't get this in India,
Exactly.
you know.
It's
So
like you're used to it. You're used to it.
yeah, totally. We're like spoiled and privileged over here.
Exactly.
Pre-lockdown, obviously.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the inverse for you as an artist. You kind of want that like regularity of a crowd, or
Yeah.
you know.
Crowd is one thing. I mean, but I mean, crowd is actually what it would be. But just that connection of just like being there, being able to connect with the music you're playing, either you're performing it or you're playing it out, or just have that connection between you and audience, and
Mm.
just having that often enough, which justifies your existence because we musicians we live for the music. I mean, it sounds cheesy as fuck, but like it's true, man. Like I don't know what else I would be doing. I'm listening to music all the fucking time. That's all I do, all
Mm.
the time. And for the last 10 years, all I've been doing very often is just performing music. Either I'm playing it with people or I'm performing it on stage. And I mean, sure, I can do corporate gigs now and then to pay the bills, but that's not like it's not satisfying me, you know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that it's general music, not just genre based. It's not even a fucking scene kind of thing. It's just that connection that you crave. And
Exactly.
talking about mainstream shit, like I've got to be honest, right? Like remixing U2 officially is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, that was pretty
And I'm kind of
pretty big,
shocked you haven't made.
strange, big one.
I'm shocked you haven't made a bigger deal of it. You know,
I mean, I did what I had to. I posted it on Instagram. What else are you supposed to do in this day and
it's
age,
like
right?
motherfucker, you remixed U2. I mean, that's like, I mean, dude. I mean,
Dude,
okay,
you
so
too.
working with you, right? You are the only Indian act to have a track out on Hospital Records, and then another one on Ram Records. It's a big fucking deal. Remixing U2 is a bigger deal. But you were just like, I just did this remix. And
No,
then
I
fuck
wasn't
off.
like that. Yo,
Come on.
it was a big fucking deal. I didn't, I
Yeah,
didn't, I
go
didn't.
fuck off.
It was. I tried and like every. In fact, that whole month of December, I was just like a little. You had to kind of shut me up about it if I was amongst people that like my friends that wouldn't
Okay.
think I was an asshole if I'm just talking about it. But that was a huge fucking deal for me, man. Like, in fact, the first band that I ever played in with my friends, the SOS, the first demo we ever recorded, the first demo I ever recorded was Where the Streets Have No Name.
Right.
And we went on to cover a whole bunch of like U2 songs on all of our shows. I know their discography pretty fucking well. I would say about 70% of it, which is a lot if you know the size of a U2 discography. So remixing the track, I mean, fuck remixing the track, just listening to the stems. Like they sent me stems, and I was like, I can just solo Edge's guitar. Just that feeling alone was pretty priceless, man.
Yeah, man. I got like a hard drive of like bootleg stuff about Prince, and I got a bunch of samples, and I just
Hmm.
lost it. So I can only imagine getting
Yeah,
it officially would be fucking amazing.
yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, I didn't even know at the time that we'd get to meet the band, and like 2 days before the gig, they were like, so Q2 wants to meet all the remixers, and there's like three of us got in and we met them. And I mean, what do I even say about this shit, right? Like, what can I say that will justify the feeling that I was feeling? I can't say anything. I just shut the fuck up and just take it
But
in. You know?
that's why I love you so much, is because you're very fucking like punk about it. You're very like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna sort of
Thank you.
downplay it a little bit. You know what I mean? That's why
I'm
we
not
work
trying
together.
to. I'm just yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
inherent. Do you know what I mean? It's like an inherent,
Yeah.
like, yeah. You know, I work with you too. You know what I mean? It's one of those, like, yeah. I've got this track out. You know, like, yeah. It's fine. It's fine. But you know what? I was pulling up tracks for our chat today, and there was the whole hospital thing. But there's one track I want to play, which no one's ever heard.
Oh man, can we do this? Is this allowed?
No, it's not out at all. This is completely not meant.
I'm saying, is this allowed? Oh, okay.
It's completely not allowed. So this is
I guess
Focus, right?
Yeah. This is the track we did for Buttx. It's a pretty fucking amazing song, if I would say so myself, and I've been playing it out every time it's relevant. Like I can't drop this if it's not the right, you know, setting. But I've been lucky enough to do it a few times, and it's pretty phenomenal.
There's a vocal sample in this that I thought was "Follow the Light" from
Sub Focus.
Yeah.
No. The vocal sample is Arya Nanji.
Okay.
She's a singer and a engineer who works. I don't know if she still works at Island City Studios, where we were working out of.
Yeah.
Maybe she still does. I'm not sure. I don't live in Bombay anymore, so I don't know. So I know she's a phenomenal.
That city so hard, then you.
No. I would never reject that city, man. I love Bombay. So this is her. I knew she's a great singer. And I was telling Nick, I was like, he was telling me, in fact, we should get the singer in. I was like, yo, I know someone who's right here.
Sick.
And we got her, and she did this.
I didn't even know that. I was all over this session, but I didn't know that.
That's her.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's like instant goosebumps for me, man.
That is awesome. Yeah, man, that's wicked. Those keys are a bit whatever, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Were those keys you or Nick?
Guess.
I don't want to say, man. You tell me, man.
The keys were me, but like Nick really liked it.
Okay, fair enough.
I changed it up, and he was like, no, let's keep that. Let's keep that. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's very generous. But yeah.
There's a lot of other things that I threw in there as well.
Yeah, I mean.
But like, I mean, he was a fucking beast in the studio, man.
Dude, what was it? Did you learn a lot from that whole experience? Like,
oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Like,
fuck yes.
I know. Full disclosure, I arranged the whole fucking thing, so I'm aware. And you know, like seeing essentially like a director casting a movie, it was like watching you guys jam was like correct casting. You know what I mean? Like there's a vibe. You know what I mean? It translates to music. But what was it like for you in terms of that interaction? Did you pick up shit?
Yeah, I picked up a lot. There's a lot of, I mean, there's some like geeky, techie stuff that I picked up as well. But I think outside of that, there was a certain approach that he had.
Wait. That's the vocal, right?
Yeah. Shout out Arya. That's all Nick, man. That's all Nick.
And then her voice on top.
He'll come in a second. So good. And then there's this. So when he kind of like stretched out that section where you thought the track was going to drop over there, and he was like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
And then he stretched that out.
You build up
That was
anticipation.
like, he just built that up. And like, it's such a small, easy thing, man. But like, you know,
And the
these
gate
are
thing.
little things that you pick up. Yeah, the tremolo thing that happens.
The
Yeah,
gate
yeah,
on the vocal, and then like
yeah,
the anticipation comes up.
Exactly.
So after Sky is saying, what track is this? This track is not out. I don't think it ever will be. But it's like Sub Focus and Oxygen. It might come out one day. Who knows? Yeah, it's a dub plate. But
if you want to hear it, just like show up at any of my sets, and there's a 50-50 chance that you'll get to hear it.
Yeah, it's a fucking great tune, bro. But also,
it's great, man.
There's the thing about like what you've got coming out on RAM is interesting, because so working with you as someone that loves drum and bass and loves brown people, because I'm brown, I like sort of pushing boundaries. And then the thing is that a lot of your production is very calm and very
I'm a pretty calm guy.
Yeah, and I'm an idiot. I'm a hyperactive idiot.
You're like I'm like the antithesis of you.
Yeah. Antithesis, bastard.
Antithesis.
Antithesis.
I'm from Kerala, India.
Okay.
Excuse my few
mispronunciations.
Mispronunciations.
Your piss pronunciation. But yes. So like generally it was like you're kind of more like I don't want to say aggressive but you're more dance floor stuff. Seems to not connect as much as your considered stuff. You know what I mean? And so this is like a great example. So the track coming out on Program this Friday is Kodachrome Sky. And we've mulled this over for years, you and I. Like we've fucked with this endlessly.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how would it work on a dance floor? And I think maybe in the pandemic, because there are no dance floors, it works better.
I mean, yeah, that being said, I feel like this might do kind of well on a dance floor, though, because when I started writing it, it wasn't the pandemic yet. And I wasn't really trying to write a chill track, but it's got sections, man. It's like sometimes when I'm arranging my songs, I think my more band...
I'm going to pull that back so you're talking over the drop.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Sorry, carry on talking.
Yeah, I think when I'm arranging songs, sometimes my more like band-esque aesthetic kicks in, and I'm kind of arranging along those lines. And so a lot of times, like either my second drop or my like my B section on the first section of the song starts to change a little too much. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone listening.
That's fascinating, because I would say that arguably the problem I have is that it doesn't change often
enough. Okay, interesting.
So when
should we save this conversation for
man. No, I'm a big fan of variation, man. I'm a big fan of variation on every fucking bar. I'm like, yo,
right.
Change shit to keep people interested. You know what I mean? I just burped like a bastard.
It's alright. That's what happens when you break out.
This flows so well. And so I think it's kind of shocking for like, well, not shocking, but I guess I'm glad a label like Ram has an outlet for this, which is just, it's a bit more considered.
Yeah.
So good, bro. That is so good. That's so good. That's so good.
Cheers, man.
Because there's so much going on. There's variation at every point. Your ears are kind
of... So that's kind of... this track was a lot of fun that way. I just kind of let it be more of a drum off, if you know.
That's a great way of putting it, the drum off.
Yeah. I try and like focus a little more on melody a lot of times, and I get a little lost in that. So for this one, I thought I'd just keep it like just all about drums and just different frills, different kits, different sounds within the spectrum of drums. And even in the second drop, it's like a brand new kit. The second section of the second drop, again, brand new kit. So, but what I really like about, what I feel like really took this track to the finish line was the bridge.
This bit.
This this bit. It's my favorite part of the song.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the bongos we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. The the bo the bongas?
The bongos. No, but
The bongas.
the bongos.
The bongas.
Bongos.
Yeah.
That's the bongos.
What's up, Naveen?
Easy now. How's it going? You know what? I'm gutted that Naveen's moved out of that office. Monica's old house.
Yeah, but he's moved to Goa. He's not really my neighbor, but like he's close.
Everyone in Delhi and Bombay has moved to Goa. That's just
I mean, why wouldn't we? It's great though. I feel like if the entire like creative like industry just moves to Goa, then that becomes the new hub, right?
well, I mean, I have a certain PTSD about Goa because of all the work we did there with festivals and stuff. So
I mean, yeah,
I'm like,
for sure.
yo, like if I go back to Goa, fuck, I mean, I can't go anywhere right now anyway. But
Yeah.
going back to Goa is like a whole like, I'm a little fearful of it just because I know how small the roads are.
That is an issue.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is why my very old beaten down Swift is like very stress free to drive around.
Nice.
It's like I don't give a fuck.
D's in
It's
the
great.
house. Big up D. Yes.
What's up, D?
But so
Good to see you, man.
So you've remixed like YouTube. You've had a track out on Hospital. You've had a track out on Ram. You've toured the United States, which is like no one else that I know from the UK scene, apart from like big artists, have done. You've done a lot of shit. Like, what's left to check off on your like list? Because fuck you,
Maybe
you've done it all basically.
I mean, the thing is, I've done the UK, the Europe, the UK, and the US tours. I did that with Sky Harbor when I was playing the drums, and that was amazing. But like, I do want to try and do the same territories as Oxygen. So that's definitely my like
So as
what I
you-
have my eyes set on as me.
as you, huh?
That's very clearly my goal. I mean, now I don't even know what to like how to like plan anything in the middle of what's going on right now. But what I know I can do from my end right now is just like work on music. So that's what I'm doing. And
Well,
but yeah, that's
I guess that's all you can do. But like in terms
Yeah.
of dream collabs, like what would you or dream projects, what would you like to do? In the comments.
Hi Jess. Fuck, I haven't seen anyone who's been coming up on this. I'll catch up on this in a bit.
That's fine.
It's crazy. I feel like the Subfocus collab was possibly like very, very, very high up on my collabs. So thank you for that.
Fuck
But
off.
outside of that,
If you were shit, it wouldn't have happened. It's all down to your quality. Quite
I guess.
But like, is there like Lenny Kravitz or whatever the fuck? Like, who would you like want to work with massively? Like?
There's
So like,
truth being told, I really enjoy kind of being in my own zone when I'm working on music. I do like collaborating a little bit with singers, but I feel like I haven't done enough collaboration with other producers to like feel like there's something that I want to take from another producer that I want to imbibe into my own thing, you know.
really?
I feel like this. I mean, I'm sure that stage will come eventually, but I feel like at this point, there's still so much more I want to do in terms of my own sounds, evolution, and growth.
Fair
That I
enough.
want to do that a little bit before I start thinking about, okay, now I want to like see what I can do with this guy or what I can do with this guy. Because there's so many ideas that I have, and it's taken me a lot of time to get. I mean, I'm not saying that I've gotten to that stage yet, but it's taken me a lot of time to get to a stage where I feel like I can fairly accurately translate what's in my head to what's coming out of the speakers.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of
also,
do that.
I mean, working with you, I think half of the problem is actually that it takes a long time for you to get what's in your head out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been trying to like shrink down, you know. And it's getting, I mean, you know this more than anyone else, that drum and bass is a fucking hard genre to produce
Oh, mate,
and make it
it's a
sound
bunch of
right.
cunts. Like, everyone is
It's
critical
it's the
as
worst.
fuck. Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
exactly. It's
Like,
the hardest shit I've ever had to do.
yeah, but
And like,
it's kind of like trial by fire, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, I love doing it, and as frustrating as it might be every time I try and like compare a mix with, you know, a studio master, and I'm like, I'm shit. I'll never be able to nail this. But every time I get a little closer, like with Kodachrome, I really felt like it was a pretty big leap from what I released last, which is Trinity, which you're playing right now, actually.
Mm.
So as long as I can see that it's going forward, it kind of inspires me to keep going. And I want to keep, I have a bunch of like, I mean, you know what all I have in the bag. So I'm kind of just working on getting all of these things to the finish line. I want to put out a lot more of my own music, and uh, I'm also curious to see how that's gonna evolve. I mean, how my own like relationship with the genre and with songwriting is gonna evolve as I put out these songs, and then I think that will be able to better decide who I want to work with, because I
Yeah.
respect and look up to a lot of like different producers and musicians. So I'm gonna wait on that a little bit. I think there's a
That's
lot
a
more that I
really
want to say.
interesting answer. It's like, when I'm ready,
Yeah,
I will tell you. Basically, is the
yeah,
answer.
because I don't know yet,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of sweet because you're like essentially saying, I want to be good enough to fucking do what I want to do.
That's not quite what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is a lot that I have inside of me in terms of like just ideas that I haven't been able to put out yet. And I feel like I want to put that out a little bit. As I mean, see, whatever I've released as Oxygen so far, I'm not very proud of all of it. I like some of it, but I feel like there's a lot more that I want to be putting out before I can start being like, okay, now let me see what it'll be like to do an Oxygen and this one track and an
Sure. You
Oxygen
want to
stuff
establish yourself in your own terms before you.
in my own sound.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. But equally,
Yeah.
you're doing fucking well, bro. Like, we wouldn't
Thanks,
work
man.
together. We wouldn't
Appreciate
work together
it.
if you were shit.
Maybe I'm being a little too self-critical, but like whatever gets the job done, right?
Well, that's it. I mean, I think there's the whole thing about getting the job done, but also expression. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I'm going to call, like, it's a weird thing working with you and with like sort of D from my past, like Shiver Sound System stuff. Like, it's and then with Bhavan's like prolific as fuck. He will churn out tunes left, right, and center. But
Absolutely.
you motherfuckers are long. Like, you're so long. Like, it's like, bro, get me the fucking tune so I can pitch it, please. Like, get me the fucking thing. And like, it's
Yeah,
like,
it's a labor of love, man. It's a labor of love.
so long.
It's like,
bro, get me
it's,
the
you know,
thing.
coming back to what you said, it's like making a ship in a bottle, dude. It's like the tiniest fucking, you know, I can like churn out house tunes like that, but like drum and bass just takes forever.
Yeah,
Just takes forever.
there's a bit of consideration, right? You need to kind of,
Yeah.
but, and also you don't want to be called like a prick by your contemporaries or people you love.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And just like, oh,
Yeah.
if they call me out and this tune is shit, then, you know, there's a problem there.
Yeah, I mean, you have your own, like your own harshest critic, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, so like in terms of this lockdown, you went from Bombay to Goa and you've moved your whole shit there. Has that changed your songwriting?
It's just been like a little over a month since I feel like I've actually settled in. So I haven't really gotten a sense of what my songwriting process is right now.
Okay,
But
so it's all in the air.
it's kind of in the air, but I mean, the good thing is I have been able to have enough time to sit in front of the computer and actually get a lot of work done. I'm quite hopeful with where it's going. As I said, there was that track that I did, which I managed to wrap up in about 2 days. So I think there's something right that's happening, you know. I've also managed to like get in a pretty decent, like just a routine where I can go to the beach in the morning, get a swim in, come back and work, and then I can work out for a bit.
Hey, fuck you,
and
go to the beach in the morning. Fuck off.
I mean, yo,
I'm
that's
so jealous.
why do you think I moved?
Bastard.
Why do you think I moved?
Fair. Fair.
And
I'm
even
just
in
jealous.
Bombay, like for the longest time, I used to like do like you know, really, really like after hours, like go to sleep at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., work till then. But then for a while, I was like, I had a pretty solid work schedule in. Like I'd start at 10, finish at 6, and that was working pretty well for me. But I also didn't like the fact that I would just wrap up at 6 and not kind of use that night energy, which I was so used to. But now that I'm back here, it's kind of nice to still be able to do that. I don't feel like I need to stop working at 6. I think there was this like energy in the city that was like, okay, 6 o'clock,
It's time
everything's
to go
done,
out and get
stop
fucked
working.
up, basically.
Kind of, but just like I was trying to like get a work regiment in, and that was maybe helping me be productive in the most part of the day, but I kind of lost a bit of the magic of the night,
There's twilight
if
hours.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, yeah,
Actually,
yeah. So,
I did this whole track recently.
mhm.
I'm gonna play it to you. It's another remix for Anushka.
Okay.
It's basically kind of a fucked up garage tune. And the reason why I mention this is that whole nighttime shift. Like working in the day or writing music in the day, I just can't do it. I can't do it at all. I'm really bad at it. Did you find a successful like way of doing that in the day?
Yeah. So that's exactly what happened in Bombay when I was able to establish this like you know, just getting into the studio at 10 a.m. every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
And because for the longest time I felt like I wouldn't be able to make this kind of music in the day.
Like a job,
And
essentially. Like treating it like it's a fucking job.
Exactly. And once I figured out that that doesn't matter anymore, and as long as I show up in the studio, I can still do it. That was a big game changer for me. And right now when I'm here, I'm trying to like kind of get the best of both worlds, where I'm able to get to the studio at like 8 a.m. I'm able to like work on a track like Kodachrome Sky, and I can also like keep that energy going. Even I might take a break in the afternoon for like 4 hours, but I can still keep going till like 8, 9 in the night, and it still works. You know,
it's so fascinating because drum and bass as a genre is a nighttime genre. It's not a daytime genre.
Exactly.
It's a nighttime genre, and for me, it was like that whole urban push and pull, that struggle comes out in music, just like with punk, and that's why I love it so much. And then when I met Noisia, you know, the drum and bass crew Noisia, and they were in Groningen, and they were in nowhere. They were in like off the map, you know, kind of Netherlands people. It was fascinating to me, you know, to see that you could still make that desolate urban music from a different landscape, you know? Huh. Hey, he's gone. So, I don't know if I can play this actually. I was going to play you a remix I'm working on for Anushka. Fuck it, I'll play it for you. It's kind of like a UK garage kind of flex. And that whole the whole conversation is, you know, we're having about night and day. Anyway, I'm going to call Olivia back into the chat. If he's there. Wow. Hang on. He's not there. I know. Right, let's see. Ox. There he is.
Yo.
Hello.
Sorry, Goa internet woes.
I was playing this
Yeah,
drop.
still getting around that.
I was playing this drop. It's like a rave drop.
Is this on the new Rand music release?
I made this like last week.
Oh, oh, sick. Sick. That's dope, dude.
Yeah, it's a remix I'm making for Anushka.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, but my point was that
That's
that
fine.
whole emotional
Release.
justification of it. It's like an emotional run as opposed to kind of the technical thing. So I'm very blessed I have D to kind of do the technical aspects of it.
Part of it.
Yeah.
That's how you, okay.
Yeah, and so for you, in terms of that whole production thing, you're essentially isolated, so it must be really difficult.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, it's also like the fact that I have this whole background with like being in bands and just always having other musicians to like, you know, feed ideas off of it. That's such a fulfilling experience, and it also makes the whole process a lot easier. So like just being stuck by yourself in a studio can at times get a bit, you know, you kind of get in your own way and like just get inside your own head.
Yeah.
But that being said, a lot of times I have such a clear idea of what I want to do with a song that I also like not having anyone else directing that and just being able to do that myself. So yeah, I quite enjoy it, to
Like
be
with
honest.
you, like do you utilize, like for me, writing music is almost like therapy. Like I kind of like I've written hundreds of tracks that no one will ever hear because it's like a sort of
Just for you.
a purge. You know what I mean? It's like basically like shitting. Essentially, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this shit out. You know what I mean? Do you have the same approach, or is it much more like, have you got an eye on the audience?
No, every time I come up, I mean, I'm like just messing around with you know, a patch or a synth or like sample. I'm always envisioning it in a performance setting
Right,
or in like
in that
in a club
context.
setting, in a club context. No,
So, bro,
yeah.
actually, as a drummer, right, you kind of formed like OX7GEN Live, and it's you behind the drums, but you were also center stage. So drummers typically are behind the scenes, driving the fucking engine. You know what I mean? Like the body of the car is the front people. You're there fucking giving it the revs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then in OX7GEN, you were kind of had to be front and center, like OX7GEN Live. I mean. You know, was that a difficult transition for you?
A little bit. I mean, I didn't really put myself that front and center. If you remember, I was still like in the position on stage where the drums would be.
You had a riser.
I was.
You had a riser and spotlight.
Yo,
fuck you.
Drums.
I know your stage layout. Don't be a dick. I know
drums,
your stage layout.
Yeah, I mean, there's a riser, but like drums can be on a riser. That's allowed, right? About the spotlight, you'll have to.
Band, like, you know.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I honestly, for something like OX7GEN Live, I wish I could have been center stage with like a guitar or a bass guitar or keys or something, because as much as it's fun to play those grooves out, it's like I feel it's very restricting. And if I'm playing drums for a band or for an artist, it's cool. I'll, you know, sit at the back and I'll do my part. But there's a lot more that I have to express, you know, whether it is just being on stage, bodily, and I felt like that gets a little restrained, just being strapped behind a kit, which is why I've been playing a lot of guitar and bass. So let's see what happens in the next few years.
Acha! So you won't be drummer.
Acha.
You won't be drummer. You'd be like,
maybe
fucking polymath.
Yeah, maybe.
You'll play everything.
Got some master
fucking
plans.
bass, no? So
what's that?
You started with guitar anyway, so.
I started with guitar. Yeah. I mean, I kind of started with it, but like I left it at a very early stage when, at that point, I didn't even really know what I wanted to do with guitar. I was just like heavily into Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and all these virtuosos, which is cool when you're starting off, but like it's also very like it's gonna put you off very easily because you're like, I can't play like Satriani, fuck this shit. You know?
Yeah,
Uh,
but also there's like a commercial kind of leap, and that's why I'm a massive Prince fan, because you can be nerdy and also then do everything, but also sell
oh yeah,
records. You know?
exactly. I mean, it took me some time to figure out what I liked about the guitar, and that's kind of what my new obsession with it has been now, you know.
So is it
Uh,
like the whole point about sort of learning new things and adapting and changing and the thing that, across all of that is you're a fucking lovely person. You're genuinely a nice guy.
aw, thank you.
And
It's so
is
sweet.
there a position or is there a point in the past where you've been like, shit, I wish I was more of a bastard? Like, has your niceness fucked you
Uh,
up before?
my niceness has definitely fucked me up. I do know that it's not very good to be be too agreeable. Um, but fortunately, nothing's so intense that it comes to mind as
So
like
give me one point where you would like, fuck, I wish I was more of a bastard at that point. You don't have to name names. You can sort of censor things.
the fact that I'm finding it hard to think of something so specific
Means it's
means
fine.
I'm just a nice guy, I guess.
So being nice pays is the point. It pays off to be nice.
I mean, I think in the long run it does because you can sleep better at night.
Mm, that's a really key point. Do you think Donald
Yeah.
Trump sleeps well at night or not?
I mean, with everything he's taking, he's probably out cold, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like sleeping at night
It's
is not
not that
leisure.
it's oh yeah, okay, okay. I guess. But that doesn't count. I don't know. It's not about sleeping at night, it's about how you wake up. That's the key.
Hungover.
Yeah, he probably doesn't wake up very well. But
That's true.
most mornings I wake up feeling pretty okay.
That's awesome. So listen,
Yeah.
motherfucker, you got a track out on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Mm-hmm. What's next? I'm gonna finish up everything that I'm sitting on right now.
I want to know.
There's
I personally want to know. That's what it's not even a fucking question. People watching, I'm like, I want to know what's coming.
this is like
Bastard.
there's actually two really cool songs that I'm really excited about featuring two singers. I've been doing a lot of lyric writing,
I
which
don't know about any singers or any.
of course you do.
At all. I don't.
You do. You heard my shitty. Oh yeah, because I've not sent you like. See, you don't know any of the vocal tracks because it's got my like shitty rough vocals on it. I'm not sending that to you.
Okay, so I don't know.
So
you're literally telling me.
so
for
I
the first
guess
time
I
as well.
guess you don't know. I guess you don't know. But
Okay.
yeah, there's two songs with two singers. I'm pretty excited about. Going to be recording them over the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, there's a few slightly more tracks kind of in the vein of Kodachrome Sky that I'm working on for
That thing we
that
know
thing.
about. We're
Yeah,
not going to talk about.
exactly,
We know about that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That
So
thing, good.
there's
Yes.
that thing. There's
That
also
thing.
another EP that I finished during quarantine that I've been sitting on. It's mastered. I've got the artwork ready. I'm just kind of I want to release it in the right
That's
way
the
in
hippie
terms of
shit you were
having
doing, right?
yeah the hippie shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love how you categorized everything. You know, there's the hippie shit. There's the vocal shit I haven't heard,
Do what you
and
want
then
to do with
there's
that
like
hippie stuff. It's not for me. It's fine. Yeah, I'm very
yeah
derogatory in that respect.
yeah. No,
I don't
I love it.
apologize. I'm very
I love the honesty, man, because you need that these days, dude. There's enough people just talking shit. I
yeah.
need that fucking honesty, so just lay it out. Lay it
Yeah.
out.
There's no smoke up your ass, bro. If you're shit, then
I
you know,
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
we'll say. But also, one thing we didn't touch on at all is Duster,
Hmm.
which is fucking badass. Like in terms of support networks, which is like really integral to help people progress. Duster's amazing.
Absolutely.
And you're
It's
part
great, man. Dasa is like our personal producers, Indian producers, AA. That's what we call it. It's basically just a circle where we can. I mean, I've said this a few times before, but like just being in a band, you feel supported because you have all these other musicians around you, and you're kind of sharing the load, you're sharing the pressure, and being a producer, a solo producer, which like so many of us are right now, you just feel alone. A lot of times you feel lost, you feel doubtful, and it's very important to have some sort of like a support system that kind of keeps you going and gives you that little dose of optimism when you need it. And that's what Dasta is for us. It's like a band that doesn't play together, but like the fact that anytime there's anything that's on any of our minds, we kind of bring it up. We have a WhatsApp group, and that's basically what like guides us through a lot of the really shitty situations of just being a solo human being, fuck producer, just being a solo human being, a solo mind, navigating this like crazy fucking landscape that is the current music scene in the world.
I mean, even pre-pandemic, it was lonely as fuck anyway.
Even pre-pandemic. I'm not even talking about pandemic. Pandemic is like a whole 3-4 more layers of complexity, and
well, that's the thing. So Dasta is like you, Sand Dunes, Tarkib, Ketan, Ocean Tide, and
Sokuma and Kumel.
Yes. So it's like 6 of you.
6 of us, yeah.
And it must be lovely having that kind of interaction, and then also perpetuating or encouraging new talent from India too.
Yeah, so I mean, like when we started it out, it kind of started off as just us being like a support system for each other. What we wanted to try and do eventually with it was more outreach, try and like, just help out more producers who are like getting into the scene right now, who didn't know like what to do, where to go, what to do with their songs.
Like, I'm a freak,
exactly. Exactly.
It's a home for freaks.
So that's what we were trying to do in the beginning, and there were also a lot of challenges because everyone had very, very tight schedules with what they were doing, and also like geographically, I mean, it wasn't so bad. Only Ketan was in Bangalore, the rest of us were in Bombay, but it was becoming a little hard to kind of do everything that we wanted to do. So then we kind of scaled down a little bit. And I mean, it's just a learning process, man. It was like the first time I think any of us had tried to do something like this. And we did a few sessions where we were like, trying to help out young producers with their mixes, and we did a few compilations, and right now it's...
Did you get a response, like a healthy response from young producers?
From the Indian producers? Yeah, a lot. We got a lot. In fact, I think we got a little too much, and we were like, whoa, this is a lot for us to handle, because there's like 6 self-employed producers who are trying to like make their own careers, but now suddenly we felt like we had also this like massive responsibility of like all of these producers coming in and handing in their like dreams and their tracks to us and being like, what do we do with these, So I feel like there's still a lot that we have in mind that we want to do, and it'll kind of all pan out as and when it does. But like, just as you said, just the fact that you have this kind of a circle that supports you when you most need it, it's invaluable. It's absolutely invaluable.
I guess essentially you're offering that support circle to everyone else that's making music too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is a very fucking isolated kind of thing.
Yeah, it can get, I mean, and right now more than ever, right?
Yeah, totally. So you moved to Goa. You're making your shit. You built your studio in Goa. You're doing, you've got this release out on Friday, and all's well. You've got your sort of future plans and OX7GEN live. Is there anything you're uncertain about?
I'm kind of just trying to focus on what I have control over. And as far as I'm concerned, that is writing the music that I want to write. And I feel like just from when I was really young, my entire life has just always kind of positioned itself in a way that has allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do in terms of like being a musician and creating music, that I'm not unsure about these things. It might be naive to say it, but like, I just know that if I can just focus on writing music and just living a true life of an artist in a way of just like absorbing the influences that are around me and just spending time more than anything. You know, I'm not romanticizing about being an artist. I know that a lot of it involves putting the hours in, and I know I'm doing that.
It's shit, but yes, we all know
It's
that.
shit, but
Yeah.
I mean, there are shit moments. It's not all shit. There are shit moments, but you get through it, and when you get
It's like
through
a
it, that
bridge.
feeling is
Sorry.
pretty. The moments of like overcoming those shit moments is what it's really about. And if I can have that once every 2 days, then I can do this until I die, man. I'm okay.
Awesome. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, bro. The reason why we work together with you is you are a badass and you are exceptional at what you do. Just
Thank
hurry
you.
up and finish more tracks, you prick.
Yeah. I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm gonna wake up at like 6 a.m. tomorrow and get back on the grind. Yeah.
Right. I want to go wee.
Excellent. You do that, I'm gonna do that as well.
Okay, let's go pee and I'll say goodbye. Love you. Big love.
Thanks so much, bro. Catch you soon.
See you too.
Bye bye.
Bye.